Unusually for a politician, he leaves a lot of space for other people to speak and remains a technically difficult interview for a journalist because his sentences gently trail away. When the mayor brought the woman through to his office, he realised he didn't recognise her, which was unusual in a town with a population of only 5,500. While the stranger continued to insist she couldn't tell Ferrier her name, what she did tell him, and with some urgency, was that she held grave fears for the safety of one particular family in Biloela. They were Tamil asylum seekers, and she believed their lives were at risk because the entire family were being assessed for deportation back to Sri Lanka. The family she described were Priya and Nades and their two Biloela-born daughters, Kopika, then aged 2, and Tharnika, only a few months old. This would be the first time the mayor would hear the names of a family who was soon to become the most famous residents of his town. By 2017, even in the conservative heartland of rural Biloela, the strident anti-refugee policies of the then Australian government were crystal clear to anyone who could switch on a TV. While Ferrier didn't know Priya and Nades personally, he did know that Tees, the local meatworks where Nades worked, was reliant on workers like Nades. People willing to do deeply unpleasant jobs that Ferrier says many Australians aren't keen to do. Jobs that remain filled by people from approximately 24 nations other than Australia. And besides, a simpler chord of disbelief struck Ferrier. This couple had 2 baby daughters, both born in Biloela. Surely the government wouldn't take a local family with baby girls away from the town. After the woman left, a concerned Ferrier discreetly contacted his local federal MP, Ken O'Dowd, a member of the Liberal National Party of Queensland, and consequently a member of the coalition government then in power in Canberra. The very government the stranger had said was narrowing its sights on Priya and her family in Biloela. Pragmatically, Ferrier felt any chance the family had of staying would probably be through him using his existing relationships. Ferrier knew O'Dowd and had friends in his office. He hoped that his quiet and reasonable concerns would be met with mutual respect, and that his back-channel lobbying would quietly secure an outcome that kept the family safely in Biloela. Of course, like many local politicians in rural Australia who are constantly dealing with the realities of workforce shortages, Ferrier also knew that the Minister for Immigration held huge discretionary powers, meaning he could, and frequently did, change the outcomes of people's lives just by taking a few minutes to grant a visa. An Australian immigration minister's signature was the manifestation of what many had come to call God powers. But while the volume of anti-refugee rhetoric was almost always dialed up to 10, it was undeniable that the minister was regularly and quietly dishing out visas for refugees who, for whatever reason, they decided deserved ministerial discretion. While trying to reach O'Dowd, Ferrier ruminated that perhaps his mysterious visitor worked for the government herself, and that her work prevented her from doing anything other than taking the risk of coming to him. By this time, medical staff, including doctors, had faced the threat of serious legal action by the Australian government for speaking out on behalf of seriously ill refugees in detention centres. While the mayor was trying to contact the local MP, Priya was at home with her daughters, minutes from the council offices, waiting for her husband to return from the meatworks to their home on Rainbow Street. She was oblivious to what was going on just up the road. With her visa valid until March 2018, a date all the way in the next year, Priya was actively engaged and fully cooperative with departmental requirements, and was hoping her family would be one that benefited from the God powers of the immigration minister. It was not an unreasonable expectation either, given that her friends, local health workers and nuns, as well as Nades's employers, were all drafting letters to ask for just that, the minister's